inspire. The Rebel Life Lessons isn't just a channel. It's a revolution of minds, a movement for every soul that refuses to settle for the script they were handed. So if you've ever felt like the world tried to box you in, if you've ever been told you're too much, too late, or too different, then this message is for you. Because starting today, we're going to burn the lies, one by one, until all that's left is the truth that can't be tamed. Welcome to The Lies You Believe, how the world keeps you small. And if you're ready to think for yourself, then it's time to empty your mind, open your heart, and rise like a rebel. You were born free, but the world slowly, quietly, taught you to be small. It didn't chain your hands, it chained your mind. It whispered, be realistic. Don't dream too big. Stay safe. And somewhere between childhood wonder and adult survival, you believed them. You believed that success was for a chosen few, that greatness belonged to others, that your story was supposed to fit inside a box someone else built. But what if every one of those ideas, every limitation, was a lie? 1. The system of smallness. We live in a world that profits from your doubt. Companies sell you confidence because they've already stolen it from you. Schools teach you what to think, not how to think. And society gives you a script. Work, consume, repeat until you forget you were meant to create. Socrates said, an unexamined life is not worth living. But most people don't live. They perform. They perform success for others, approval for family, and comfort for fear. The rebel questions all of it. 2. How beliefs become cages. Every lie you believe becomes a wall in your mind. Every I can't becomes a locked door. Every not now becomes a life sentence of waiting. Dr. Joe Dispenza wrote, you are not doomed by your genes or your past. You are changed by your thoughts. That means the cage isn't real. It's learned. Nelson Mandela said, I was born free, but everywhere I turned, I saw men placing themselves in chains. He wasn't talking about bars, he was talking about beliefs. The system doesn't have to imprison you if it can persuade you to imprison yourself. 3. The lie of perfection. The world says, be perfect, then start. Faith says, start and I'll perfect you along the way. Every artist, every athlete, every visionary began messy. Michael Jordan said, I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career, and that's why I succeed. Perfection is a myth. Progress is the truth. Every time you take imperfect action, you break one more link in the chain of fear. 4. Awakening the rebel. You were not meant to be normal. You were meant to be alive. Jesus said, you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. And that truth begins when you start questioning everything you were taught about who you're allowed to be. Look around. Everything built by humans started as rebellion. Electricity, airplanes, civil rights, freedom itself. Rebels don't destroy systems. They awaken souls. And now it's your turn. Fear is the oldest teacher in the world, but it's also the biggest liar. It tells you you're not ready, that you'll embarrass yourself, that failure means you're unworthy. But courage isn't born from fearlessness. Courage is born when you look fear in the eye and say, not today. 1. How fear controls. Fear disguises itself as logic. It says, wait until the timing's right. But timing is a myth. Action creates timing. Fear keeps you calculating instead of creating. And if you wait for certainty, you'll wait forever. Viktor Frankl said, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. That's where the rebel lives, in that space of choice." 2. The psychology of fear. Neuroscience says fear lives in the amygdala, a small almond-shaped part of your brain that activates when you sense threat. But here's the twist. Your brain can't tell the difference between danger and discomfort. So when you step out of your comfort zone, your brain sounds the same alarm it would if you were facing a lion. That's why growth feels terrifying, because your brain thinks you're dying. But you're not dying. You're being reborn. 3 lessons from the brave. Serena Williams said, "Every woman's success should be an inspiration to another. We're strongest when we cheer each other on." She learned courage by standing alone until others saw her strength. Muhammad Ali said, "He who is not courageous enough to take risks will accomplish nothing in life." Every champion, every leader, every believer had to do it scared. Courage is fear that prayed first. 4. The faith in fire. Faith is not the absence of fear, it's movement in its presence. David faced Goliath not because he wasn't afraid, but because he trusted that purpose was bigger than fear. When you walk toward what scares you, you tell your brain, "I am safe in the unknown." That's how you rewire your courage. 5. Closing of fear. Fear will always speak, but now you know its voice. It's not God, it's memory. So when it whispers, "You can't," answer, "Watch me." Comparison is the thief of destiny. It convinces you that your story is too late, too small, too ordinary. But the rebel knows purpose isn't a race, it's a revelation. 1. The algorithm of insecurity. You scroll through your phone and see highlight reels. Perfect lives, perfect smiles, perfect success. But none of it's real. The world wants you addicted to measuring yourself, because a distracted mind is a powerless mind. Eleanor Roosevelt said, "Comparison is the thief of joy. It also steals focus, faith, and time." The antidote? Gratitude. Gratitude ends comparison. When you count blessings, you stop counting rivals. 2. The power of authenticity. You will never win at being someone else. Authenticity is your superpower. LeBron James said, "You can't be afraid to fail. It's the only way you succeed. You're not gonna succeed all the time. And I know that." He never chased imitation. He built identity. Stop comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. Stay faithful to your lane. Your time will find you. 3. Faith in timing. The Bible says, "To everything there is a season." That means there's a divine schedule for your life. And it's not delayed, it's deliberate. You're not behind, you're being refined. Sometimes God hides you to grow you. When the rebel learns to wait with purpose, waiting turns into preparation. 4. Freedom from comparison. You can admire others without abandoning yourself. You can cheer their success and still chase your own. Your value is not up for debate. It was set the moment you were born. And no follower, count, paycheck, or applause can raise or lower it. You are enough, not because of what you do, but because of who made you. The biggest lie in the world is that you can't. You can't start late. You can't dream big. You can't change the world. But every rebel who ever lived broke that lie in half. Colonel Sanders started KFC at 65. Vera Wang became a designer at 40. Morgan Freeman got his first major film role at 52. The timeline is a myth. Purpose doesn't age. 1. The science of possibility. Your brain adapts until the day you die. That's neuroplasticity. It means new thoughts can build new futures. When you say, "I can't," your brain stops looking for answers. When you say, "How can I?" it begins searching for solutions. Faith and science agree. Words shape worlds. 2. The lie of resources. You don't need more resources. You need more resourcefulness. Tony Robbins said, "It's not the lack of resources that stops you. It's the lack of resourcefulness." The rebel finds a way, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. When you start using what's in your hand, God adds what's in His. 3. The mind of a champion. Champions think differently. Kobe Bryant said, "Everything negative, pressure, challenges, is an opportunity for me to rise." That mindset doesn't come from comfort. It comes from faith in work. When you start believing you can, you stop waiting for permission. You've spent a lifetime believing lies, that you're too old, too late, too ordinary, too broken. But here's the truth. You are enough. You are chosen. You are capable. One, unlearning the old world. You were not born to fit in. You were born to stand out. And standing out always feels like rebellion before it feels like freedom. The world says, follow. Truth says, lead. The world says, blend in. Faith says, shine. You are the light of your own awakening. 2. Legacy of the rebel. Steve Jobs said, "The ones who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do." The Rebel Life Lessons family is built on that truth. We don't just dream. We dare. We don't just talk. We transform. We don't wait for permission. We walk in purpose. 3. The final truth. Freedom isn't outside of you. It's been waiting inside of you all along. You are not the lies. You are the light. So rise, not as the person the world expected, but as the rebel you were always meant to be. If this message reached you, you are one of us. A soul unafraid to question, to fall, to rise, to rebuild. Comment below. I am the rebel. Because every time one of us wakes up, the world loses a lie.